On the ground mount section, there is a build ground layout option. This will initiate the pop-up window. In the rack section, you need to select the racks from the database. You can select a few racks for one PV layout. Typing relevant information in the name box works as a search option of existing racks in the database. Click on the filter buttons to show racks of only one type. The active button is blue. In the Select Boundaries section, you need to select boundaries, which you wish to fill up with racks. If we have only one system or more systems that will have the same rack module options and alignment option. Click on Select All button. In the pop-up window, tick alignment type you wish to adjust for boundaries and click OK. We can select which boundary will have the set properties. Click on Select on Drawing button. Then pick point inside boundary you wish to select. In the pop-up window, tick alignment type you prefer for selected boundary and click OK. Repeat 2 previous steps until you will select all the boundaries you wish and press Enter or Space. The info of how many boundaries are selected will be displayed beneath the buttons. If we have selected more than one rack systems when selecting boundaries, we need to determine not only alignment type, but also priority sequence and rack placements in the pop-up window. Supplement left means that the smaller racks will be placed on the left side of the row. Supplement right means that the smaller racks will be placed on the right side of the row. Alternately, you will put the rack types one by one. Virto-Solar will automatically determine how to position the racks depending on their sizes. It will fill most of the area within the selected boundary with bigger racks, and use the smaller rack to fill in the rest of the space from the side you've selected. Selecting boundaries with tracker rack system, we need to determine alignment type. If we have selected rack system with tracker, the rows will be installed in direction from north to south, and solar module surfaces will turn around rack axis from east to west during the day according to the sun placement. If we accidentally added a boundary that will not have determined the rack module system or alignment, click Remove Selection button and start to select again. On the right, you can see a number of options. All are predefined, but all can be changed. Virto-Solar automatically detects if there is a 3D mesh inside. The user can dismiss the existence of a 3D polyface mesh by unchecking this option. Further, we need to determine how the distance between the racks rows will be specified. We can do this by selecting Shadow Angle or Fix Row Pitch. If we select Shadow Angle option, each row will have a different pitch. The width will be calculated individually depending on the shadow calculation between the rows. With the Fix Row Pitch option, the distance in a row is always the same. In the Shadow Angle option, we have some possibilities of its calculation, which need to determine. Shadow Angle, you need to enter the needed value to the input box. Calculate your shadow angle. Virto-Solar can calculate the optimal shadow angle and other parameters from ranges you specify to get maximum DC power of your PV system. To determine these ranges, click on Optimize button. In the pop-up window, specify min and max values of shadow angle, row pitch, row space factor, and expected DC power and click Calculate. After calculation, you will get results with the optimal values of shadow angle, row pitch, row space factor and power, number of racks and modules with this angle. Also on preview, you will see row pitch, inter-row distance, and rack heights values with this angle. Click OK to adjust calculated parameters to your system. Use average shadow per row. Check this option to make the distance between the rows always the same. Minimum row pitch. You can also specify min distance between the rows, not depending on shadow angle calculations. Create shadow option. When selecting it, will build shadow contours for each rack on the drawing. If we select Fix Row Pitch option, we will annulate the shadow angle calculations, and the distance between the rows is always the same. After you've entered row pitch value, shadow angle value will be calculated automatically. Gap between racks. Specify regular space between racks in the row. Click on the ellipsis. In the pop-up window, you can define gap sizes with different frequency for columns or rows. Click OK to adjust specified values. You have possibility to build a rack layout oriented not on the territory you have but with defined power. Virto-Solar will calculate necessary number of modules and racks to not exceed power limit. Check max, power option, and enter wished value to the input box. Optionally, you can specify point of your PV plant, from which calculation will start with the click on Start Point button. In the pop-up window, select side of the world from which the calculation will start. You can also specify exact starting point on drawing. Click on Select Point on Drawing button. On the drawing, select the point you wish start aligning from. To adjust settings, click OK. With Virto-Solar, you can check the slopes in the module direction and between rows, how steep is the terrain, and if the side direction of a rack can fit on that terrain. Slope limitation checking this option allows to avoid putting racks on the terrain if it's too steep. For that, you need to determine values of maximum rack side slope and row-to-row slope in degree of %. Racks will not be drawn when the slope is higher than this value. Numbering start position, select bottom or top option to set the position from which numbering of rows will start. Positioning accuracy sets the interval distance for searching the best option for your installation. It can be set from low to high. When all parameters are determined, we can save this setting to use in the future. Select Settings option. From the drop-down menu, select Save option. In the pop-up window, enter the name for these settings. An information window will confirm saving. To use settings that were saved before, select Settings option. From the drop-down menu, select Load option. In the pop-up window, select Settings. By its name, select the one you need. Settings will be adjusted in the rack layout window. After you have made the settings for your PV layout, click Build button to start building. Congratulations! You have successfully built a 3D layout with racks and modules.